Hi, the book I read this week is called The Crossover by Kwame Alexander. It was the winner of the Newbery Award in 2015. Um, this book has a copyright date of 2014 and was published by Houghton Mifflin Harcourt Publishing Company. It is 237 pages long and it is written in verse. It is appropriate for students age 8 through 12 and it is a realistic fiction novel. The story is about two brothers, Josh Filthy Nasty Bell and Jordan, otherwise known as J.B. Bell. They're seventh grade twins and they're basketball phenoms thanks to their father, Chuck Demand Bell, who was a retired international basketball player. Their mother is the vice principal of their middle school, and they're very involved parents, and they expect their children to behave and get good grades. So the book kind of centers around the boys' basketball season, and they're hoping to go to the championship game, and they're both really great at basketball. You can see each page is written in a little poem form. They all have different titles. You can see some wordplay when the words are dropping down the page. Let me see if I can find another one like that. Anyway, the boys are wanting to go to their championship game, and then one of the boys meets, here's some ticks, meets a new girl in school. Her name is Alexis, and they call her Miss Sweet Tea. So JB gets very distracted by this girl, and suddenly Josh goes from having a best friend who he has lunch with, he plays games with, he shoots hoops with, to being alone. Aside from that, his father is having some symptoms of sickness, and his mother is really worried. So Josh gets upset at his brother on the basketball court and hits him in the face with the ball really hard, and their relationship is falling apart, and the dad is getting sick. So what happens is the father collapses on the basketball court, and while the dad is in the hospital taking his last breath, Josh is playing the championship game to win the regional finals for his basketball team. So it's a kind of a sad, realistic story about a family and the family dynamics. I like that it was written in verses. It's the first book I've read like that, and I thought it was an easy read, and it was descriptive, and it had a nice rhythm to it. The themes of this book would be, it kind of talks about family dedication and loyalty and redemption, and addresses serious health issues of adults. And again, there are no illustrations, but it's kind of a cool book of poetry. So I think this is good for children for several reasons. It exposes them to a different type of writing. It also talks about some serious issues that kids will begin to struggle with, and as they get older, they need to probably be reading about some issues like this. It may touch home with some of them, and they might be able to relate to the characters. It also talks about, how you treat your family members and things like that. So it's got a lot of great subjects in it. I was thinking about it. It reminded me the other morning I was driving to school, and I had my 8th grader beside me and my 5th grader behind me in the car, and my 8th grader was just acting all true stressed out and grown up, and my 5th grader was smearing the windows with his breath and his hands, and I thought, how quickly kids grow up, and they go from reading these, fairy tales to reading some things about some tough subjects, and it's just all a part of life. So with that, I really thought I'd like to do some reflective activities. So I thought with younger kids, maybe 3rd graders, writing short essays after having some discussions about the book, and with older children, maybe they write an essay, and I would let them choose from some topics. They might be lighthearted about, the characters in basketball, or maybe the way they liked the writing, or they might be a little heavier about some tough subjects. They would get the option. Here's a cool page that shows you kind of the word play. So instead of illustrations, you have these great rhyming poems and some fun with words. So that is The Crossover.